Hi guys, I'm Blackie. Okay, today I want to talk about a piece of kit and a possible change in my haversack. Now, as you know, I've been running the Blackbird haversack, and I talked about how I took the shelter system out of the flap area and moved it down here, because presently I'm running a ONEWIND ultralight hammock as my primary hammock in it, my emergency shelter bed in it. And I'm also carrying a ONEWIND poncho as a shelter system. And I had quite a few of you say, Blackie, why don't you get rid of that poncho and just get a tarp? I carry a tarp. Well, you know, that is viable. To me, it's the multifunction of having the poncho be a wearable piece of kit to protect everything, as well as being a shelter, okay? And remember, I went out with Bear, and me and him, and I set it up right quick to show you how big it is, how wide it is, and that it is a very functional shelter system. I got more than enough room under that. But it is kind of thin, and anybody that gets one of these ONEWIND ultralights is going to tell you it weighs nothing, and it's super thin, and that's what it's meant to be a wearable garment. Well, I was talking to the lady who runs the company, and she pointed out after she saw my video that they also make what they call a shelter/shelter floor. And what that is this. And it's a tarp. It's a little thicker, not massively, but you can tell the two are thicker when you pick it up. And this is meant to be the floor that goes into their tent. Now, you know, and you've seen in my videos where I set up a ONEWIND tarp that has the side pulls out that makes it into like a small wall tent. And I've talked about that. And I should be able to show you a picture of it right along here. Okay, this is the floor that you can get to put underneath it turned into a regular tent. So you could stake it to the ground and have a tent with a floor in it and use that ONEWIND tarp as a standalone small wall tent. You know, and that is a very interesting option, because once in a blue moon I do like to go in the tent, and I do like to use a cot. And when we did my gathering here a few days ago, I was sleeping in a tent with the wife on a cot, because I was trying out a new cot I got that I really like, and I'll talk about that in an upcoming video. But as a floor to be able to put down when you want such a thing, I don't know. Let's see how it works. So I have only taken it out once just to get an idea how big it is. And from the opening it up, it deploys completely out of the little bag. It's a good material, still nylon. It's still thin. It's still incredibly light. But the corners have got the loop on them to put a tent stake, and they also got a pocket. Well, with a pocket, I could make an X, couldn't I, with small light poles, and make an X poncho shelter that folds over the top of you, can't I? And we'll do that in an upcoming video. But you've got a grommet at the corner, grommet halfway down, another grommet, and then a grommet at the end. So that's 4 anchor points along one edge. Now on the other end you have the 2 sides. So down 2 sides you have 4 contact points, which would make it where I could easily stake it to the ground and have a flat thing. I also could turn this into a diamond shelter, whatever. Well, my question is it long enough to go over the hammock? Because that's one thing about the poncho, is it's not quite long enough to go full length on the hammock. So I'm going to set up my hammock real quick and see if this is long enough to be used as a true shelter over the hammock. So let's set it up. Okay, here is my ONEWIND ultralight hammock set up with this shelter / tent floor as the top. Now it's not long enough, as you can see, because I pull it up here where it needs to be. It lacks about 2 feet being long enough, but it's bigger coverage than what I had with the poncho, and I could probably get by with it if I had to. But as a standalone, set it up as a shelter, I'm sure it would do that, and I'll do that in just a second to see the size and the room of it. But it's definitely big enough for a sunshade, and that's a big thing down here. It being thicker and it's heavier coated because it's going to be a floor, so it's a little tougher. And then these pockets where you can put sand or whatever, or rock to hold it down, could be used to stick poles in. Like I said, I'll do that in a future video of making an X of bent over small saplings hooked into those pockets so it bows up. Guys do that in the Army. They'd make those X's for ponchos to drop over them. So you put like it's almost like a lid, a covering, like a basting lid that goes over a big roaster. That's what it looks like, and it just drops over you. So you're ground pounding and you just drop it over your head. But I'm impressed with how light it is, the size of it, and how durable it appears to be. So let's set up a ridgeline right quick, and let's see what it looks like when we set it up as a lean-to. Okay guys, here is the ONEWIND shelter / ground sheet / tent floor set up. It's fully the size of that poncho. It might be even a little bit wider, to be honest with you. I haven't measured it. I should have attached it to my ridge line, but I didn't. But this is more than enough real estate right here for a diamond shelter, for a lean-to shelter. It is more than enough room for me to stretch out and have a foot or two on either end, probably like 2 feet on each end. I'm 5'10", so it's probably 8 feet or so long. Good UV protection out of it, so to speak. I like it. It'd make a good tarp. Quick and easy, and it will ride in the top of the haversack. The poncho gives me the ability to have rain gear I can wear, but this, if I'm thinking about just a tarp, this is actually a better tarp. I ain't got that hole in the middle I got to deal with. So that's it, guys. I hope this gives you some ideas. Check out the ONEWIND products. And I know I sound like I'm a salesman for them, but it's because I believe in their products. Let me share this right quick with you, and I'll do this in another video because I really think it needs to be said. We were at my gathering. We had horrible storms. It was the March 18th, 2021 tornado outbreak. We were the beginning of that chain. There were dozens of tornadoes popped up all over Alabama and all over that storm front. Over 100 broke out. And we were riding out that storm. And I was not, but several people that I know were in their ONEWIND hammocks. And a good friend of mine rode out, who's from Michigan, that's the Michigan woodsman, Michael Ilya. He rode out his storm on top, in that ONEWIND hammock. And that was pretty impressive. We had a guy that had a DD tarp that just shredded from the 50, 60 mile an hour winds, the hail, and the severity of the storm. And his DD tarp just split like it was tissue paper. And yet the ONEWIND held up, and the ONEWIND was pinned to the ground, and sand went to bailed up on one side. He said, I probably had 200 pounds of sand on one side. It never tore, it never gave, it never ripped. So check out the products, guys. Till next time, I'm Blackie, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.